everyone. I'm Rebecca Weber, and this is your AMAC podcast, Better for America. Now, if you're not getting your political news from AMAC, then you won't be informed about American politics. And to all of our AMACers listening, thank you so much for tuning in and for sharing AMAC news with friends and family. Go ahead and visit AMAC and join over 2 million patriotic Americans who visit AMAC for information, news, and don't forget, great discounts and savings for AMAC members. Now, today I'm honored to have with us a great gal. Her name is Tracy Robinson. Tracy is an extraordinary American and a pioneer in the film industry. Her most recent film, and you're going to love it, is called The Matter of Life. Now, this film is sure to get the attention of all of our members as it really focuses on an important issue. The most important issue, in my view, of our time, and that is the issue of life. This filmmaker knows the power of truth, and putting these all together to really lift hearts, to inform people, and inspire. The film that she recently created is called The Matter of Life. It focuses on life, conscience, and the sometimes hard to grasp truth behind abortion. With the recent Supreme Court case called Dobbs finally reversing Roe V Wade, this film is really cutting edge with a balanced, clear-eyed understanding of what happens by answering hard questions. And I think those are answered with great compassion. Now, in light of the Dobbs case, which really corrects the error of a false constitutional right to abortion, and it returns these decisions to the people and to the states, this movie and this movie maker are really front and center. So I am thrilled to welcome you, Tracy Robinson, creator of the extraordinary film, The Matter of Life. Welcome to the show. We're thrilled to have you with us.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Tracy, let me just take us right to the film, if we could. It speaks on the matter of abortion, and this film seems to be really talking to all of America, discussing life, responsibility, morality, philosophy, and abortion. And your message is so timely because we need to be inspired, and this film certainly is inspirational, but you really have come out with a deep and probing and a very honest movie that asks us all, in essence, sometimes some of the hardest questions. Are the unborn with us? And if so, what does that mean? So you have really integrated history, morality, and life itself, featuring stories from the abortion industry and post-abortive women, faith leaders, legal and other experts. So let me start by asking you a twofold question. What brought you to the point of making this film? Tell us a little bit about that, what went on in the making of this film, and what do you hope that will come out of this film?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just so amazed at the timing of the film's release. It went to theaters nationwide in May, but the vision for this film struck about 6 years ago when I first became pro-life. I've always been a film and video producer in the film and video world, and I had been commissioned on and off to do pregnancy resource center videos. I was doing testimonial videos for this pregnancy care center in California, but I was very much in the mushy middle. Even as an evangelical Christian, I didn't really care that much about the abortion issue. I didn't think it was a big deal in the grand scheme of things. And it wasn't until my friends at the pregnancy center invited me to an apologetics conference, and the topic was going to be the case against abortion. And that's where everything changed for me. The information I heard, the logic, the clarity, the science of embryology, learning about that, being able to look at fetal imagery and abortion aftermath imagery, and really be challenged with reality, with what abortion truly is and truly does. And that's when I like to say that I was downloaded with this vision that this should be a documentary film. And because I knew there were so many millennials and younger in my shoes who had never heard this information before, who were never offered the basic pro-life persuasion or the basic pro-life case. And if they're like me, they went through public school. They grew up in church, but their parents never really broached the topic, or their pastors never broached the topic. So people need to be just invited to think deeper about this issue. And so that's what this documentary does. It helps people confront this issue by addressing people's concerns. There's a lot of nuance out there, and a lot of things that get into our mind concerning abortion. So we don't ignore those things, but we address it in a way that clarifies things.
Oh, Tracy, thank you. I love that you say you were sort of downloaded this vision, because I do think that this is certainly part of a calling, or a bigger, greater motivation to want to, as you put it, educate people, inform people, and really get the truth out there. And this entire vision of yours, this mission, this whole film, it's so inspiring. I do want to pivot slightly and ask for you to tell us a little bit about what you think about the Dobbs case. Do you think that the Dobbs case, the reversal of Roe v. Wade, may open the door to sort of a national rethinking about the issue? And then, of course, your movie really fits right into this process. But what we hope for here at AMAC is really an awakening of the American heart. And this is what I pray for, and perhaps, in the world, right? Because America is such a wonderful example. It seems to me that those of faith really do have a calling to hear the truth and to protect innocent life. But how do you see the Roe v. Wade reversal impacting women in America? And do you believe that this reversal opens the door to a more forward-leaning effort to uplift the sanctity of life here in America?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the overturning of Roe v. Wade is such a huge step, and was just very thrilled and excited to be alive at a time when that was reversed, to just witness that for myself, because it is such a leap forward. But the work is not done. The fact that all these blue states are becoming sanctuary, so to speak, states for abortions. Women are being flown out for free to states like California, where I live, flown out, put up in hotels, given free abortions. These states like California, New York, Hawaii, they're being welcoming states for abortion up to birth. And so that's still not okay. We shouldn't just be content that now it's in the hands of the states to choose and decide. There's no right to kill an innocent human being. That shouldn't be in any state constitution. So the work isn't done. The battle is still going on. And but I think that this is a huge step forward in helping people think about the abortion issue, and not just being complacent about it, and not just thinking, well, it's always been legal. No, look, this is progress. Let's think about what abortion truly is. Let's be confronted with it. And that's one of the opportunities.
That's a really great point. Yeah. I mean, just saying and that really is going to bring me to my next question, because I wonder if it might be helpful to sort of get behind the darker side of the issue. People need to hear and understand a little bit more about the abortion industry, about the money that is generated. I've been saying all along, this is a money-making business, and that is really what's at the heart of those who really want to keep abortion available, at the drop of a hat. And the lies that I hear from the left, that I'm seeing TV commercials and so forth that speak to, certain people that are going to ban abortion altogether. The truth of the matter is, what the Supreme Court did was they gave power to the states and to the people who are going to vote for people based on, whether or not, unfortunately, abortion will be a political issue, because voters are going to want to know, are you somebody who's going to protect life in our state, or are you somebody who's pro-abortion? But that's where it really is right now. And I understand that there's a lot of division around this issue. And so rather than pick a side and argue and battle, I say, like you're saying, let's look at the real facts. Let's look at the truth. This is not a Republican issue or Democrat issue. This is a everybody issue. And I pray that we can turn one day and look back and say, I can't believe we were that kind of an America. that celebrated abortion, because there are those who want to celebrate abortion. Tell us a bit, Tracy, if you could, about the abortion industry, the money generated, the lobbying that they do, and really the sources of wrong information, because that to me is the greatest uh, wrong, or causing the greatest damage, is really so much misinformation that's either trivializes abortion or completely just misleads people entirely. And we're ignoring science. Help us
Mhm.
better understand what we need to know about this industry of abortion.
hmm Well, that was one of the lingering questions I had when I first heard the pro-life message was how did we get to this point in our society? And I knew there was some sort of controversial thing happening with Planned Parenthood, but it was very fuzzy understanding. I didn't know the truth. All I knew as like I said, a millennial is that that's Planned Parenthood is where you go for, they say it's women's health. And that's all I knew. And I knew that they had come to my school at one point. I think it was Planned Parenthood to give us sex education. So I was so curious because I knew there was some controversy there. Well, the Planned Parenthood and abortion lobbyists like NARAL, they are hugely responsible for just how rampant abortion is in our country. It's a huge crisis, abortion. People are treating it as birth control. Most people who get a lot of people who get abortions, it's their second or third abortion. And so um, essentially, young people are being taught that this is a normal option for them, that this is just a natural, if you get pregnant, this is just like the next step that you ought to take. And so what I learned is that abortion, and the documentary goes into the basic business model of Planned Parenthood. Um, Abortion is a huge money-making industry. There is a lot of money to be made, and so no wonder it is so protected that that Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry is continuing to fight for abortion. And now they're doing it through abortion pill, and they're sending women home with these pills to have essentially miscarriages on their own, and it's very dangerous. So there's money in all sorts of ways through abortion, and that's really what it boils down to, is a love of money.
You're right about that. And if for a moment we just stopped and thought about the pain in the aftermath of abortion, and the idea that that a woman, at some point later in life, perhaps when she decides that it's time to start a family, those scars of abortion, both physically and emotionally, are not discussed. And we ought to be uplifting women and encouraging support and love. And this is what we pray for. Our members, our listeners, they are believers with strong faith, and they appreciate life at all levels, from conception to natural death. So it is so important that you're speaking and that we're having this conversation. It's the reason why we do show this kind of show, is to bring around awareness to the issues that matter to so many Americans. I do want you to sort of walk us through the making of your film, The Matter of Life. Did you encounter any opposition or hostility? Because I can only imagine that there must have been some pushback in the journey of making this film. Did you encounter any surprises in the process?
Well, in the process, it was not really known about by the opposition. But when we finally came to theatrical release, there was a campaign through the internet and what have you to shut down theaters. There were a few that I heard about that maybe only did one night of screening, or they would lie to the audience saying it was booked or it was all sold out when it really wasn't, or just shutting down the showing altogether.
Wow.
I think the verbiage was that it was a pro forced birth documentary, and so there was this little grassroots campaign to shut it down. That's probably the biggest opposition we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's sad, but they'll do anything. Those who don't agree won't just disagree and want to debate, but will do anything to ensure that the truth does not get out. And so this is why we wanted to have you on. We want to encourage people to watch this film. Share with is it good for all audiences? Do you have an age recommendation?
Yeah, it's good for, I like to recommend age 12 and up.
Very good.
It's really a great tool and resource for especially young people who've just never addressed this issue, haven't thought about it that deeply.
Excellent. And the film, again, is The Matter of Life. And where can folks get at that film? Is it streaming on multiple? Um,
Yeah, it's streaming on sale. It's right now it's streaming on salemnow.com. And we're going to do a special streaming window through Revelation Media. But more information can be found at matteroflife.org.
Wonderful. Matteroflife.org. We're putting those links right here in the bio so folks can get at that. Tracy, you obviously bring a lot of effort, knowledge, and passion and conviction to your films, especially to this one. You seem to care so much that people really understand the whole picture and that they process what you're offering to them and hopefully find a way to apply this insight to their own lives and to share with their children and grandchildren. Because oftentimes we only see a little part of the picture, or it's too uncomfortable. We don't want to think about it or hear about it. But I think on this issue, I think all parents, I'm encouraging all parents and grandparents, do your research, watch the film, share it with your friends, your family, your relatives, your young sons and daughters. We only learn when we educate ourselves. And this is one great way to sort of see a wider picture of what's really going on. Let me ask you a couple of more questions. Do you feel that this approach, creating this film, is a good way to educate and sort of persuade people to love life and maybe take a second, take a pause and say, well, wait a minute, this is, how do you think that creating this film is a different approach than others have been trying to do? Because there are a lot of passionate people that stand up for life.
Well, yeah, I wanted to make a film that addressed a lot of common questions that people have surrounding abortion. Like, it's her body, shouldn't it be her choice? And what about rape and incest? And shouldn't she have the right to do this? Shouldn't it be a constitutional right? And so we don't leave those concerns out, but we give clarity on the science, the history of how we got to this point, the history of Roe v. Wade, and just the ways that people can make a difference. We highlight ministries, pregnancy care ministries, for example, that are doing great things to help women and rescue their sons and daughters. And then we highlight powerful personal stories, like a former abortionist who changed his mind and decided to never do abortions again after something that happened to him. So it's a way to really paint the picture in people's worldviews. We have to be on the offense in young people's hearts and minds. We need to show them the way to go, essentially, the way that they ought to believe. So often we have deferred to the culture to give them their belief system. And so I wanted to make a film that really was a plug and play, just overarching look at the pro-life message and where we're at in society and how to move forward. And the feedback has just been incredible. People are so grateful, and they really resonate with this film. It's really been changing hearts and minds.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I'm so happy to have this film available and to share it with AMAC members and to have you out there and with us. So thank you. I do have one last question for you. But first, I do want to remind our listeners about our Choose Life campaign. This is absolutely beautiful what we're doing here at AMAC, what all of our listeners and AMAC members are doing. AMAC has partnered up with Breath of Life Center and Pathway Pregnancy Services. This is a nonprofit pregnancy resource center located right here in New York, because all of you listeners are aware that Unfortunately, New York is one of the abortion, if not the abortion capital of the country. More and more people will be coming to New York for abortions. We want more resources in place so that mothers looking for abortion alternatives, folks that are concerned or have questions, have a place to go. This is a nonprofit pregnancy center, offers a ton of no-cost services in a judgment-free, safe environment with a really warm and comfortable setting where your privacy is number one, confidentiality. That's all top priority, but they provide the answers, the assistance, and the support regarding pregnancy, abortion alternatives, and so much more. So if any of our listeners would like to make a donation, please go to amac.us/choose life. We'll go ahead and put that up on the screen, amac/choose-life.us. I said that wrong, but amac/choose-life.us. Or if you go to amac.us, you'll find the Choose Life ad right there on the home screen. Go ahead and check that out. This is a marvelous way that you can help save lives. Tracy, I do have one other question in closing. Perhaps you could tell us how people, you shared with us how people can get to your film, The Matter of Life. So we're sending them to thematteroflife.com?
Matteroflife.org.
.org. I'm sorry. I'm getting all the websites mixed up. Thematteroflife.org. And our AMAC members are so active in this fight for pro-life. So my last question is there anything that they can do or should be doing? Certainly, we're going to encourage that they share this film and be active in getting this message out to others. Any other resources or action steps that you can recommend to our membership?
Yeah, the most important thing is to watch the movie. You really don't, you can't really share it with conviction unless you watch it yourself. So that's number one. Number two, and if you like the film and think it would be beneficial, which we find that most people think it is, or, know it is, share it with your church, become an ambassador in your church community or your Bible study, or just whatever community you're involved in. This is a way to educate people in a time where their ears are really receptive to it.
Oh, Tracy, thank you so much for your time and for the enormous effort and the heart that you've put into this film, The Matter of Life. And if there were ever a film for this moment in American history, this is it. So congratulations again. And we will certainly stay close to you. And we're just so grateful for all that you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for being here. And I also want to thank our AMAC members. Thank you for tuning in today. If you haven't downloaded the AMAC News app, you can go ahead and watch and listen to this show, plus track breaking news right there on your smartphone. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button, like, follow, and share whenever you're on social media. I'm Rebecca Weber. This is your podcast, Better for America. God bless you all. Have a great day, everyone.
You're listening to the Better for America podcast, presented by AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. To learn more about AMAC and all it has to offer, visit us at www.amac.us.